Greetings, everyone. Today is the 23rd of May, and we're delighted to have you with us for Content Evolution New World. Mike McGuire, my co-host, is on the West Coast. I'm here on the East Coast. Mike, delighted to have you with us.
Good to see you and everybody on the call and all the listeners we have.
Yeah, and today we are delighted, and I say that, all right, with a lot of enthusiasm. I'm always delighted by our guests, but today we have Kaz Yamazaki, who I've collaborated with for Kaz. What is it? 25, 30? How long has it been? Many years, all right? Many more than we want to disclose, all right? But the fact is, Kaz is a remarkable designer, and he's going to share his most recent book. I just want to, I'm going to just, show you that my library, which actually wraps around the entire room. Kaz has been in that room, before when he visited, is the author of books like IBM Design and Product Design and Experience Vision. He's got, stuff that's from the HCD libraries. So he is a prolific, author. He has been a professor since he earned his PhD. This is his life's work, right, that he published when he was at Musashino University. And today we're delighted that his book about Richard Sapper, first in Japanese, now in English, is available from Amazon. And Kaz is going to share his journey of working with Richard and the gifts that Richard has given us, some of which you would be familiar with, like ThinkPad notebook computers, others perhaps more obscure, but Kaz will take us through that. Kaz, you're joining us. It's very late, all right, but you like to stay up late, right, in Japan. And we have Mike has experienced Kaz because he was part of our advisory council program, and Candace Soderstone is here with us, who is part of our ergonomics, human factors. There it is, right? By the way, my copy of that book, the English book, is going into the Federal Express envelope right after this call, so that you have a copy of it, Kaz. And mine is already ordered by backup. So I'm delighted to have contributed to the book, and I'm going to turn it over to you. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. And also, I'm very happy to make an English book to you, because Richard Sapper is a very famous industrial designer, but unfortunately, he was born in Germany, and he moved to Italy. So that he's not so much fun in Italy, and also we know very much, but he's not so much popular in Asia, also in US, and so that his book is very limited, and it's very rare chance to touch with his product. Also, oh, good questions. He was died maybe 6 or 7 years ago, and so now I'm starting his starting from my background, and also his history in the beginning. So let's share my PowerPoint. And so this is a book, and this is my background, And I joined IBM, I forget, maybe 40 years ago. And I work with many IBMer with US and also around the world. And also, Richard Sapper started consulting work for IBM. And so I worked for Richard for about 25 years. And then I moved to more like academy areas, such as Chiba Institute of University and Musashi no Art of University. And now I made a publisher also. And so that today I'm very happy to introduce this book. And Richard Sapper was born in Munich in 1932 in Germany, and he learned more like economies in university in Germany, in Stuttgart, and then he worked for Daimler Benz, and only for 1 year, because he found it is not easy to work for a car company, because the car company is very big, and his part for design is limited. For example, a back mirror is his work, and so that he moved to Milan and to work for Gio Ponti. Gio Ponti is a famous architect in Italy, and he worked for Gio Ponti, and he started his own studio, and his work is not limited by himself, and he collaborates with Italian designers, famous Marco Zanusso, and Marco Zanusso is a very famous Italian designer and architect, and but Richard Sapper is not so much famous in Italy, but Marco Zanusso collaborate with Richard Sapper, and also Marco Zanusso created his work, his name, and Richard Sapper's. So it's very rare case, because the famous designers did not credit other peoples, only himself. And but Marco Zanusso is different, and so that Richard Sapper is getting popular, and then IBM hired Richard Sapper as a consultant because IBM hired Elliott Noyes, but Elliott Noyes was died, and still Paul Round, graphic designers, is work for IBM, but IBM need the product designers instead of Elliott Noyes, and many candidates were there, but Paul Round recommended Richard Sapper is good for IBM. And because Richard Sapper was born, and he has a background of the more like a logical thinking in Germany, or also more like a emotional thinking in Italy, and he has a both hand and to think about the product design, and so that IBM need Richard Sapper. And so that IBM hired Richard Sapper as a consultant until his die. So maybe Richard Sapper worked for IBM about 30 years. Okay, and this is a picture of his studio in Milan, and most popular designer hired assistant or other designers to collaborate for him. But Richard Sapper is different. He did not hire any people. Only his wife supported Richard Sapper from the more like several, such as paperwork or more like calculations or a contract. And because Richard Sapper loved to work by himself, he's making sketches, he's making prototype by himself, and he's collaborate directly with client very much. And this is his office in Milan, and always he stay in Milan and to collaborate with as a client, and also visited client very much. And this is a first his product that's a very famous one, and this is a clock, but this clock is a many story, and this clock was more like based on kind of idea is from what can I say? The company was made. What can I say? Existing steel parts, and he pick up these steel parts and make this clock and put on the weight on the clock, so that always this clock is angled like this based on the weight. And this is the first his product, and he got award by this clock. And still this clock was reproductions. And another product was radio. This portable radio was more like portable, so that he thought portable is good for lasers, and he tried to combine the lasers and aluminiums inside, so that from human side is a laser is a very good touch, but inside is aluminium is very solid, and combined soft laser and solid aluminiums is his idea for portable radio. Still, this design is work for current times. I love this radio very much, and I hope someone will reproduction for this design very much. And also another famous radio is more like a portable radio, but this radio is when you move it, it's closed, and when you listening radio, you open, and the left is a speaker, and the right is more like a control, and this control is more like easy to find the switch, because, for example, left switch is volume to make us sound more bigger, and so that this switch is put on the center of the speakers, and the right switch is more like a selecting the tuner, and so that the button is a center of a circle. So easy to find which button is what purpose. Like this. And another product is a portable TV, and portable TV is more like handle is very unique, and if you want to take it, the handle is pop up, and this when you put on the tables, this portable TV has a slightly angled to look at easy, and also back side is a more like interesting functions such as connectors, several buttons, or louvers, and he thought these kind of functional element should be more like beautiful architectures or sculptures, and usually this kind of function is disturbs the design, but his thought is different, and the function is very important, but the function should be layout and designed more like a sculptures. And this is also famous telephones, and this telephone was designed for Siemens. But Siemens is a very famous German company, and most telephone is black and more like a traditional shape, but this telephone is different, and his idea is when telephone is closed, the left pictures like a bird, and not looks like telephones. But when you pick up telephones, automatically telephone was pop up, and you can dial or you can speak. So kind of a contrast is his ideas. Like this, when it is closed like a bird, not looks like telephones, but when opened, more easy to use input to the numbers or the speaking or listening telephones. And for this book, Dorit Sapper is his wife, and she is still alive, and she collaborated to make this book. And I visited Milan last year, and also this year. I talked with Dorit Sapper, and she speaks many memory for the product and Richard, and she commented her memory for each product. That's very interesting. And so this is another product, but also very famous TVs. And this TV is we call black TV, and looks like a square black TVs. But when TV was power on, we can find out this is a TVs. And for this book, all the products I bought, I get around the world, and I touched and each product, and I really find good things and the interesting things for each product. And then I asked the photographer to take a picture for this book. Most design book is just pick up traditional pictures and to put on the book, but this book is very different because I have all the products, and I made pictures for original picture for this book, and based on his concept. And this black TV also very interesting, and when it is closed and when power is on, display is on. But unfortunately, I got this TV, but I I cannot power on this displays because display has already problems. So that I cannot take a picture or display is on. And also detail of the control or tuning area is like very gorgeous details. And base product is a very simple, but the details very interesting and very beautiful. You can see the detail of the switch also. And this is another product. This product is a tape recorder with radio, like a radio cassette tape recorders. And this product is a very influence to ThinkPad also. And when it is closed, like a top, is a very simple one, but top surface is something rounded because of the speaker inside. And also you can see the side area is interesting detail because of this detail is half moon kind of detail. Is we can see this product is something moving, and so when it is closed, but we can find some funny things in the details. And when it is opened, this product is more like straight black surface is horizontal to rounded and to angled in the course. Same surface, and control is put into. And I love this control very much. For example, tape recorders, and you can see yellow is pause, and red is more like recording, and white switch is more like go ahead and stop, and back site. And so easily find out the what is the function is. And this is a very popular product by Richard Sapper, Tizzo. And when you have a chance to visit Italy, you can get this product in airport in Rome or Milan. So one of the landmark in Italy for modern designs. And the idea for this product is small light, but this small light is just lightning in very long place, like last side of the pictures. And also, this product has a very interesting details. For example, the bottom left is a weight, has a curve, so that you can find this weight is more like a moving. Also, right side of the lighting area, more like angled, and it's more like a bat, and you can find this is a place to lightning. Okay, and also he's not limited more just a product. He's working for more like social problems. For example, Milan is a very road is crowded, and he tried to solve this problem. And for example, he made designed a scooter at the left side, and also he designed and proposed for a bus for the bicycle, or more like bicycle to more like a folding bicycle to easily to take it, and also easily take it to the train or a bus. And the left picture is very interesting because he made a prototyping, and he tried it by himself. And the top left top picture is his wife Dorit is trying to use these scooters, and the left bottom is Richard Sapper is trying to this scooters by himself. Also, dog. His dog is run away with him. So that's a very interesting pictures. And so another famous product is a kitchen timers. Rounded kitchen timer is very simple designs, but the interesting is you can see the top, you can see the numbers. Also, in the side, you can see another numbers, and both number is related, and the side is more like a wide range of numbers, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. But top is a more detailed minute. You can see 0, 1, 2, 3, and so that this kitchen timer has a two-way to find the time, and more like about time and also detail of the time. And also this kettle is also very popular and still production. This kettle is very interesting because originally his ideas is more like a sound, And most people, designer is just thinking shape or form, but Richard Sapper is thinking more sound for the kettles. And he tried to several sound and prototyping in the right side of bottom side of pictures. You can see several prototyping because he made several tests for sound. His idea is if this sound is more like good harmony, uh, you can enjoy the life. So that finally he pick up a unit of harmonica, and you can see the 2 unit of kettles, and whistle is based on harmonica, and this sound is a very good sound. So when you make boil the hot water, is a more like a functions, but he can enjoy sound in his life and enjoy the life by this sound. The original idea is enjoy sound, and so that he pick up several materials, and finally he pick up harmonica and whistle, and to whistle is inside of in gold parts, and but this gold parts is very heavy, and so that not easy to open by hand. Also, it is very hard, and so that his idea is like a pistol, and pistol is you don't need to touch the front, and when you put this kettle and like a pistol to open the this front and to put on the water. Okay, and also he made several interesting kitchen ware, and this like a fry pan. So, so I hope you think about designing fry pan. It's very difficult because fry pan is a very simple product, and but he thought fry pan should be more character, has a characters, and this fry pan has a simple base, but to put the more like slanted rim and angled and also carved, and interesting design is edge has a rounded, and this has a hole, and this kind of detail is we can add the interesting to this fry pan. Also, this detail has a meaning of the functions. And the ThinkPad is one of his famous products, and I worked with Richard Sapper, and this is original PS55 note, and in this time I designed this one, but also Richard has many good advice. For example, the left sketches, and this original ThinkPad has a leg, but he recommended to me has a more like angled leg. So he said leg should be like. He put on this includes the stabilities, and he made a sketch for me, and he sent me these sketches. And so, for examples, so always I communicate with Richard Sapper, and he made us many good recommendations. And also the another sketches, and he loved the detail of half moon hinges, and because half moon hinges is a very little details, but it takes us more like moving parts, so that he pushed me to how to make half moon hinges on ThinkPad, and the left side you can see his drawing to me. And then this one is a ThinkPad. The on many only the different is put on the red track point, and red track point is Richard Sapper pushed us to make a red, and because it should be visible for us, and this is a kind of symbol of ThinkPad in these times. Also, long plate, Poland made this long plate, and he tried it angled long plate with IBM and ThinkPad. Also, Poland recommended to put on 3 colors because this product has a color display, and also these colors has more like accent on the black surface, and so that very simple black surface, but put on the angled IBM logo with 3 colors is more like originality and more interesting very much. And butterfly is another ThinkPad line you may know, and this product is a moving keyboard to put into the small form factors. And this product was contributed by John Carides. John Carides is a very famous mechanical engineer and also researcher, and he designed a movement and this mechanism very much. And also he made kind of stacking chairs, and this chair is a combination of the plastic body and metal leg, and interesting place is how to communicate with plastic, with metal line, and for example, in the backside is a very interesting, and like human backside, and this metal is put into the inside of the plastic. It's also more like a solid, and also front side, and this metal is put into the angled inside, and so that more like good combinations with lead plastic and metal deck, I think. And this one is also still in productions, is ball pens and lamine. And this one is very unique because usually most of ball pen has pen is the center of the bodies, but this ball pen has a pen is one side, top side of the place, because more easy to look at the pen, and also body is angled the shape, and this material is based on titaniums and more like a solid product, and also black one is a plastic, and this one is more like a bodies.
Mhm.
And so I hope you'll try to write by this pen. You can find these ideas. And also this cheese graters I loved very much because original cheese, most cheese grater is more like functions, but this cheese grater is like enjoy at the tables, so you can make cheese by this grater for each people, and so one stroke mean is good cheese for each dish. And so more like welcome to the attendant, and father or mother is great for each people. So it's different from traditional grater. Traditional grater is more like a function at the kitchen, but this grater is more like welcome entertainment to the attendant. So, and also this one is ThinkPad with laser covers. So I think you remembered radio with laser cover with aluminum is a very original his work, but this one is also same kind of ideas to the notebook PCs, because if you touch the notebook PCs like a back, so that the laser is very good touching, and but if opened, the more like a standard keyboard is more like a functions. That's combination of laser and plastic keyboard like this. And so when I met with Richard in the first time, I visited the studio for sake. Sake is a very famous craftsman in Milan, and most model made by wood make sake made it, and So when I visited Milan, and Richard took me to the Saki studio, and we checked the product with him. And so this book is introducing many interesting products. Also, this book describes his concept, and I did not describe today, but I hope you enjoyed his philosophy. For example, design create cultures, keep proposing visions, or strive for designs that will be cherished for a long time, or starting make paper models, or study in full scale and in 3 dimensions, or try and keep using it yourself first. Richard always tried by himself, testing, or design through logic and sensibility. It is Richard Sapper, because Richard Sapper came from Germany and worked in Italy. He has a logic side, also more like an emotional side, and both. And also he always describes a movement or a motion is very important, and he tried to be aware to movement, or create from sculpture perspectives, or importance of collaborations. He worked for IBM, but he worked as a friend with us very much. Okay, so I summarized this book, and I hope you enjoyed this book very much. Thank you.
We did enjoy
Any
that.
questions?
Thank you very much. We're going to go to questions. I just lots of comments and annotation to your remarks. It's been fun working with you over the years. Some of the more memorable times that we spent together were times when we were working with Richard. So let's see if we have any questions from our guests. I'm going to take us off of Spotlight so that we can go back into group mode. Bruce Parks, your hand is up.
Yeah, that's an amazing, that designs are just amazing, absolutely stunning. But what comes up for me is how in the name of goodness did you ever prototype all of those designs? I mean, the prototyping process must have been enormous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would just say in working with Kaz and Candace, was an observer of this, is when Richard was in town, there would be discussions, but there would be many hours spent after he left for dinner in the shop making things, right? Making stuff out of foam core, making things out of, balsa wood and painting them and having something ready as stimulus to make what we discussed on paper real. And Kaz is a great, has published papers on paper prototyping. And, so the idea of moving from paper during the day into something that was a physical representation to actually look at the details overnight was, you know, part of the torture that Richard, you know, exerted, but it was a positive kind of thing because we were motivated to try to take what was on paper and make it real, right? And so that was, you know, we would go through several cycles of that in a single week. Bill,
Yeah.
does that make
And-
sense?
Yes. Yeah, paper prototyping is very key, and we make a paper prototyping most 3 or 4 hours, and so easily to check in three-dimensional design, and so
And the ones that, you know, by the end of the week were becoming something that we wanted to show to management, right, to potentially move it forward. They would start to do, they would start to add the details, and they would actually put lead weights on the inside, so it would be essentially the same weight as actually, you know, when you held it in your hands, something that was simply constructed from pretty simple materials started to feel real because it had some weight and it felt substantial, right? So it was interesting. You know, there were some, you know, good tricks to the trade. Candace, what would you add? And I see Bill Sung Tung is on with us too. He had visibility to some of this. What would you add, Candace?
So I just remember when Richard was there, it would be like a week or 2 weeks of very long days, very little sleep. And like you're saying, a lot of mock-ups and a lot of creative ideas around the table. It was a wonderful process. I'm interested to hear from Kaz, you know, what was the last collaboration that you had with Richard? If, you know, can you tell us anything about that? As I don't know how long he worked together with you. I think
Yeah,
I was through 2005. So,
yeah, he stay with us maybe 4 or 5 days with us, and discuss one day, and making a prototype another day, and discuss another day. So we spent 1 week mostly with him to update it to the design very much.
Candace, Richard was still collaborating after the sale of, you know, the PC company to Lenovo. He was still collaborating with David Hill's team right up to the point where, you know, when David made a transition, you know, to, you know, retirement, but he's still active doing things.
Right.
So, you know, I wouldn't say that he's completely retired, but he's through with his corporate, you know, days. And so he had a very long run, you know, so if you add the, you know, the 30 years that he spent at IBM, there was at least another 6 or 7 that he was advising Lenovo.
got it.
So,
That's
you
super.
know, big, you know,
Yeah,
big contributions. And, you
yeah,
know, you can tell, by the way, that today, if you put your hands on a ThinkPad, there are a lot of other Lenovo notebook computers, but if you buy a ThinkPad, you know, the fundamental DNA of what Richard designed, you know, this original idea of a Japanese bento box, right, which is black lacquer box. You don't know what's inside. You open the cover and wow, there's a surprise inside. Okay. And at the time, the surprise was color screen, track point, those elements, you know, the fact that the logo was tilted and colored, you know, red, green, blue, were all surprising to people. And from a branding point of view, because I wasn't in design, I was the, you know, brand steward, but I was a patron of design. And I funded a lot of causes, people to come to the United States and spend time with us because I thought that was important.
yes.
The you know, in looking at this, all of that stuff came together, making a company that was beginning, from our testing, was beginning to feel tired to people. This was the fountain of youth, right? This felt like, oh, there's something really interesting happening at this company, all right? And it was giving a shot of brand equity that we could send back to, the parent company, and it was all good, all right? And there was some, I would say there was some jealousy at some point, between, other business units and what we were doing, and they wanted to do similar things and they didn't have permission. But for what we could manage, it was really good. And so
There was a lot of innovation there. And even the focus on ergonomics, the keyboard, just comfort in typing.
well,
And,
that was a direct
that-
borrow from the years that we made Selectric typewriters. We said
yes.
that keyboard needed to deliver an experience that was similar to why IBM had 80% of the market share for typewriters, when we sold it to Lexmark. Mike, your hand is up, and then I see Bill. Mike?
I'm just curious. This is to Kaz and everybody and Kevin and Candace, all of you who were kind of working in and around Richard. How does a designer like that, or how did that individual work within such a large, disparate, enterprise? Was there did he have somebody as a kind of a management layer above him, kind of just putting Richard in the corner and working with you guys? Or was he also one of those people who could also not just design, but also lead?
His master contract was actually with Lee Green at corporate, okay? And all the predecessors, because he, was under contract to provide design services to the IBM Corporation in general. And then there were specific dollars that were funded for, business unit activities. But, he was he was like Paul Rand, right? That, Paul was, advising on graphic design and identity design, all right? And I sat in some of those early meetings that were at corporate when I was a young man. And you know what they all thought about? They all thought they owned it. Signage. They all thought that the stuff that was out near the street, or showing the company publicly, is they all thought that they had something to say about that, right? But those are interesting, discussions, and I won't tell you what they said.
But I guess just a quick follow-up is that meaning he was left to his own devices as long as it worked with the digital groups, or was he also a manager too? I was just curious about his personality.
No, but all right, all of these individual geniuses had access, or self-granted access to the chairman's office. And they would tell us, from time to time, that if you don't do what I'm suggesting to do, I will escalate on you and take it to, the head of the company. And that was not an idle threat, right? Because they were, self-possessed of enough confidence that they would, they would act on it if they felt strongly enough about the issue. I would say Richard mellowed over the years, all right, that those threats became less and less. But early career, it was, pretty quick, right? That you would say, you need to listen to me. Bill, glad you're with us.
Yeah, I'm curious because when you were showing one of those pages working on
Hi, Bill.
at Reserve Edition, it looked to me like those were reproductions of faxes that Richard sent to you on design. Did he only work kind of in the analog space there, or did he do much digital, like CAD design and so forth? And your comments there on prototyping, obviously today's world of design, so much of it's just done digitally. I'd be curious your reactions, like what would Richard have made that transition into the digital only or primarily digital and then translate to analog? Because it seems to me like a lot of those designs are really analog world based, if you will. I mean, just be curious your thoughts, your own thoughts, as well as what Richard would be today, if you know.
Yeah, that's good,
comments.
good questions. IBM made Sony digital machines for each locations, including Richard's office, so that we can send pictures easily to Richard, and so most communication with a picture and fax, and not a digital CAD data, but Richard look at the digital picture data and fax, and this Sony digital machine is very good for us because easily to communicate is with Richard, also Lee Green or Dave here, and for short times, and about I remember 20 years ago, but we can easily communicate very quick.
Bill, I would, you're right about Richard, and I was given permission, the little piece I contributed to the book was about visiting Richard at the Castillo, his office, right, in Milan. And after, we were finished, it was kind of like going to visit Da Vinci because all this stuff was in the state of becoming all around him. It was really cool. And he said, well, this is it. I don't want to do any more today. And he pushed the wall, right? He pushed on, and it pivoted, and we were in his living room, right? There was a physicality to his existence. I would say that the most important thing that's available today that he would have liked is 3D printing, is the little parts, the little details that he was so interested in. If we, say, okay, this is the way that we see it, and we had been able to send it to him and have the part, printed in Milan, he would have thought that was fantastic. And then he would have changed it and then scanned it back to us. I think that would have been something that he would like, but he would probably have an assistant doing it for him.
Well,
Right.
that's what I'm wondering, is that creative process. I think thinking in the analog world and shaping something with your hands first is different than manipulating pixels and
No question about it.
representation on screen. And I just wonder sometimes, like, how different the designs might have been if the conceptual process started first just abstractly on a screen, as opposed to in their head scratching out on paper and then prototyping and then iterating that way, as opposed to iterating with mathematics on the screen, essentially.
If
And it's just
be so
speculation. I
bold,
just think it's
right,
interesting
that
to consider.
Camilo Sassano, right, who, since you knew him, has earned his doctorate, manages the industrial design team for all of the high-end, stuff at IBM, right here in our backyard. They still physically prototype Z-series servers, at scale, right? Whether they're doing a lot of stuff on the screen prior to that, but they don't just leave it on the screen, right? They're making the device, right? That they're, the more than human-sized, server to show what it's going to look like when it's installed, and as I think Richard and David both like to say, David Hill, is that the airflow, because making the design of a computer is much, akin to making an air conditioner. Is you got to cool it down, right? That's an important function of whatever you design, it can't overheat, right? So the airflow and everything else is really important. I saw Schneider's hand up before. Schneider, did you have a question still?
Yeah, I just lowered it because I felt that we were kind of out of time, but yeah, thanks for allowing me to ask. So I do have a question, and is Gus, thank you for all the explanation. It was very, very cool. And my question is, last May 20, the CEO of Microsoft announced that Microsoft is developing the new chips with AI, right, for laptops, and it will be widely used in different computers. So my question is, do you think that with all the innovation in software, it will be like hand to hand also the need to update the design of laptops, computers, etc.? It will eventually happen, or yeah, what's your perspective on the evolution, also on the design of what we have right now in front of us?
Yeah, good questions. And so industrial design is focusing physical product, but we do not limit it physical product. We also looking for more like a user interface also, and so we don't need to separate physical and digitals. But in my perspective, is still most people using a physical product, and we need to think about physical products, also digital product, and both. And this kind of interaction will continue in the futures if technology is updated. But we are human and we are physical, and we still continue to use both interaction. I think this is my perspective.
So
I think,
this,
Kevin,
yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think that there's an advantage in working on hardware and software, the full piece kind of integrated. And we did that in the PC company, and I assume Lenovo is doing that. So they do influence each other, and having that holistic view can be an advantage, and it was an advantage for Apple.
Yeah. I mean, I actually was in a negotiation with Apple behind the scenes. I could talk about it now because we knew that they were buying ThinkPads and ripping our OS off and putting, their version of Linux, based, software, and so it was Mac something or other, right? And I said, why don't we make a SKU? We'll put your operating system. You can buy, Apple operating system on a ThinkPad. We know you like ThinkPads, and they thought about it and and they said, nope, it's a lockup, right? It's one system. We don't think of operating system and hardware. It's one thing. So they ultimately decided not to do that. I mean, we could have expanded, the number of people that were using Apple in one dimension in a lot of places, but they knew themselves, and I think that was a fine business decision for them. Now there's a transition, we're talking about this. You should go get your copy of Kaz's book, right? But next week, Bill is going to be with us, all right? And Bill Tang has been working quietly, stealthily with Microsoft. And there is a new kind of AI-enabled PC, right? That is, just was announced 2 days ago, right? And there are a lot of manufacturers, but Microsoft is kind of behind, both the architecture and as you said, Candace, how does the software and the hardware start to collaborate in a new way, right? So we're looking forward to Bill, kind of taking us through that on our next call at this time next week. Bill, anything you want to say before any preview comments as we get ready? We're delighted that you said yes.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to do it. And I'll just say, maybe you could send this out if there are specific questions like what you had, Snyder, on things like that, because I actually interestingly enough, I was around in the Windows business when Steven Sinofsky decided he wanted to go invest in Surface. And we can talk about that a little bit. That's way back when, so there's nothing that I can disclose. I have to be under NDA for. I can talk. I'm planning to talk a little bit about where I've sat here with the Windows team over the last year and a half, and kind of inside seat of how what came out on Monday came to be. Again, some stuff I can talk about, but other stuff I probably can't talk about. But a lot of it's out now, so. But if there are questions, Kevin, that folks have, I'll do my best to try to figure out whether I can address them or not.
Oh, you'll have a really interesting audience next week. There's no doubt about it. And
it's been a fun ride. It's been a really fun ride here, coming back to the team here, working with them over the last year and a half.
Well, I can tell you that, going back to the early days of, the IBM PC, when that was new stuff, and I was sitting in the room at Comdex with a very young Bill Gates and Steve Ballmer and Jim Canavino and Bob Carberry, and we had basically outsourced the operating system because we didn't think it was important. And now today, the IBM that exists today, is basically a software company. It's a middleware software company, doesn't have a lot of things that present, directly to, the average human, which has, as the branding guy has degraded the IBM brand significantly because it's just not visible, right? It's still an important company in terms of running a lot of important stuff on the planet. You just don't know it. And there are a lot of young people that if you say, hey, I spent my time at IBM, and they go, what's that? That's the era that we're in now, and I get it. But what you're doing is going to be visible. And I look just at, and I'll finish here. I kind of look at what got announced, and I said, ooh, this is the coming back together of the hardware and the software in a purposeful way that people may have dreamed that it would be possible to do something, and now it actually is going to be possible because we've got the horsepower and we have the ability, the computational envelope to actually be able to do some of these things. It's interesting. All I can tell you is I don't completely understand it, and I'm looking forward to hearing about it next week. Back to Kaz. Kaz, great having you with us today. Congratulations on your book. I can tell you, right, in typical Japanese style, all right, the Japanese book is a more handsome book, right, because the paper stock and the printing and everything else versus the, this is on demand. It's perfectly, this is a great book, but the Japanese one is head and shoulders, a more handsome, coffee table book. So I'm glad I have both, right?
Yeah.
And thanks for being with us. It has been a delight collaborating with you over the years, Kaz. Bill, you've got your hand back up. You want to make a final comment before we conclude?
No, it's just a clap for Kaz.
Oh, okay. That's a clap. All right. Yeah. So thank you, sir. And in everything you guys do, ask better questions, be intentional. Talk to you next week.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Yes.
Thank God.